Hello and welcome to this episode of Gin and Tonic Tavern Talks. Today we're going to go over 3 tips for NPCs to help make your life just a little bit better as a game master. The first tip that I would recommend is, if you want to give them a distinct sound, instead of coming up with a voice, find either someone that you know, or a TV personality, or the voice of a character, and just do your impersonation of that, specifically for that one. That way it gives you a speech pattern to follow, and it really makes it easier to slide into a character if you understand that they would always talk like this, so the players will know that they are talking to the bad guy.
That would make it easier to remember as well. If you pick something to copy, then, like if you write down, like say, store clerk 2 sounds like Batman. Well, then you know exactly how to make it sound when 16 episodes or sessions down the road, all of a sudden your players decide to go back there and talk to him.
Yep. And for some reason, they will remember store clerk number 2 by name.
Yeah.
You don't remember their name, but they're like, yeah, we gotta go talk to Jake down in the store at the south end of the city. You're like, who? You look back in your notes, you find store clerk number 2, and yeah, it's like, talks like Batman, so they come into the shop and... Hello there. What can I get for you today? We've got bananas. Would you like some bananas?
Bananas.
Even that sounds intimidating. My second tip would be not to overbuild every NPC that you have. Because you could build an elaborate backstory for this one NPC that you have plans that will interact with the party repeatedly throughout the story, and the party will not care. They'll think he's an asshole, and they won't want to talk to him anymore. However, you throw a tiny green thing at a party, and they will immediately adopt it.
Oh, gee, I wonder what you're referring to.
I have not spoken to a single person who got through the Lost Mines of Phandelver who did not adopt that goblin. But seriously, your party will latch on to a random person that you didn't mean to be a major NPC, but they'll end up being a major NPC. And you can build that out as it happens. Instead, think about who is this person and what do they want. Now, that could be the barman who's just trying to make as much money tonight as possible, and maybe he's willing to let a few shady dealings slide if it brings in more coin. And there you go. You've got what he's doing and how far he's willing to go with it to continue. You can then scale that up to, you've got the evil wizard who wants to kill everybody in the town because they made fun of him growing up because he had thick-rimmed glasses.
Aww.
So his overreaction to the situation is to cast the 9th level spell Meteor Storm 10 times in the same day because he's somehow storing the spells.
Well, that's not very good.
No, but now you have an idea of what he wants and what he's going to do. A more major NPC, like, if you know that's his end game, you can kind of map out what he needs to get to put all that together. And you can do it in stages. But if you only have a nice outline of where he's going, first, and then you can change it as the players interact with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's less confusing. Always think of the most important session you're ever going to plan is your next one. So always keep that in mind. But if the bad guy needs to attain a diamond worth, I don't know, 500,000 gold, because it needs to be the size of a dining room chair, and there's only so many places that he can get that, if the players thwart him at spot A, then he's going to have to find a spot B, or figure out another way to get it. That way you know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, he's got a mission, he's got a goal.
And then you also have a plan B in the background where maybe he succeeds because the players decided not to interact with it, and he successfully stole the thing. Now it's on to his next objective, and then you can worry about that then. And if I were to give you a third tip, probably one of the most important ones that you should do is write down the names. I am notoriously bad for not doing this, so I'm not going to say that it's always easy, but it's something that you should try and practice. Because you're juggling a whole world inside your head. Store clerk number 2's name is going to slip your brain.
The way I was doing it was just keeping a running list. Like, I literally just have a notebook, and then I just write down, who the NPC is that they talk to, and then if they have a name, and if not, then I just leave it. But that gives some kind of order to it as well, so then my thinking is a few dozen sessions down the road, then you can be like, oh man, there was that one guy near the beginning, right after they did something, and then you kind of have a timeline to go back through it as well.
Yeah. Note-taking is super important, even if it's jot notes. If you can get your players to do the notes, I find it beneficial, just because then the players are retelling what they perceive to have gone through. So you don't accidentally drop something in a recap or in notes, and it's a good temperature check. Because if the players missed the mark completely to what you were, they were not picking up what you were putting down, and are now going in the complete wrong direction.
You might have to throw it at them instead of put it down.
But that way you're informed and can kind of make adjustments to point them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to cross that bridge over there. It's on fire. You can't go there. Not the best advice, but it sometimes works.
Hey, you do what you gotta do.
I've also had parties that would figure out how to climb a ravine if they really wanted to go somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of these times I'll have to tell you how we dug up an entire city. It is quite possibly the best campaign I have ever played in, and yet it was the greatest failure of a campaign.
That's pretty fantastic.
But tune in next time for more of our ramblings on different ways you can run a game, and hopefully you all enjoy yourselves out there. Stay safe. And we're